speed, line, angle. Go hard or go home. Autodrome for round one of the 2012 Maxxis British Drift Championships. It's loud, it's smoky, it's sideways. Let's go drifting. Right, Anthony, you know the score, mate. You've played on the biggest stage. So we've got three classes. We've got the semi-pros, the pros, and the super pros. I mean, that's a lot of cars. How are we going to squeeze that all into one day?
Well, basically, we have three classes, as you mentioned then. We've got 30 drivers in each class. On the Saturday, they come down to do the qualifications, and then what we do is we limit them down to top 16. Right. So the top 16 of each class go into battles, so and then they go all against each other all the way to the final.
Right, so that's the format. Let's go see some of the drivers. Well, you've got to tell me a little bit about your car, because you've obviously spent a little bit of money on it.
It's quite a lot of money on there, yeah.
How much have you spent?
So it's probably about 65 grand in it altogether. She's running RB25, 600 brake horsepower, a lot of trick bits underneath to try and extend the lock and make everything work as the car should.
So a serious bit of gear then, yeah?
Yeah, loads of fiberglass, panels, doors, everything to get a car as light as possible.
I'm here with one of the Super Pro drivers, Ian Phillips, but he'd rather be called Biz, and I'll tell you what, they've all got funny nicknames here. So, Biz, what's the name about?
Well, unfortunately, I was a bit of a hyperactive, over-adrenaline child, so I got known as the Business, which eventually got shortened to Biz.
Talking about funny names, your car's called the LSR 33. What's all that about?
Well, as many people might know, this is an R33 Skyline, brought in from Japan, but it's got an American LS3 6.2 litre V8 engine in it, so it just lent itself to the nickname LSR 33.
So I'm here with Wayne Keeber, one of the Super Pro drivers at the Maxxis British Drift Championships. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad.
Good. Has much changed about the car since last year?
It's shed a lot of weight, but apart from that, it's pretty much as it was.
Right. And what do you think about the track conditions today? It's still a little bit wet out there, isn't it?
Yeah, there's some little patchy bits which make it unpredictable, but it's dry and there's loads of smokes, and that makes everyone happy.
Drivers, done. Let's check out the cars.
So we're going to look at both ends of the Super Pro class with small brake horsepower to large brake horsepower. We've got a Toyota Supra here from Team Sats Motorsport. This is over 1,000 brake horsepower. The way they gain this power is they upgrade a lot of the internals for the car and the externals for the car. They take a standard Supra, which has got a standard 2JZ engine. This is a 3 litre. They've used oversized pistons to gain a 3.1 in the cubic capacity. They've taken the standard turbo and upgraded it to a huge Garrett turbo. That gains a lot of power. They've increased the injectors from a standard 300cc injector to 2,000cc injectors. And then to get better cooling on these cars, they had a 50mm radiator. They've got 2 huge radiator fans on the front. That increases the cooling as well. Let's go and look at some low-end power cars. This is one of the low-end power cars in the same Super Pro class. This is a Nissan Skyline R32. Standard engine is normally an RB20. She's upgraded it to an RB25. She put a front mount intercooler on it, an upgraded radiator, upgraded air filter, and basically that is all they need to do to compete. As long as you've got the driving style and the driving skill, you can be up there with the big boys, like the other car we saw with 1,000 brake horsepower.
So we've seen some of the cars and we've seen some of the drivers. Let's check out qualifying.
Okay, quick explanation of qualifying. Each driver gets the chance to put 3 qualifying runs in. Each qualifying run is out of 100 points. The way it's judged is on clipping points and speed and angle. Basically, clipping points are positions on the track, whether they'll be on the inside of the track and it'll be an inside clipping point on the front bumper, or a rear clipping point on the outside of the track. And basically what the driver has to do is get either his front bumper or his rear bumper as close to those clipping points as possible. The judges watch very carefully to make sure that the drivers are very close to these clipping points. They're also judged on speed, angle and overall control of the drift. If at any point the driver does spin, that's classed as a big fat 0, so that run will not count. During qualifying, only 1 car is on the track at one point. But then what they do is, once they've got the qualification scores, they go into a top 16. So the top 16 drivers in all 3 classes qualify into the battles. First goes against 16th, second goes against 15th, and so on until they meet in the middle. The person who qualifies first has a massive advantage because he has to go against 16th. So remember, if any of these drivers spin, it's classed as a big fat 0 and they will not be driving hard, they will be going home.
Qualifying wasn't so good for me this weekend. We had a few winter changes to the car and it hasn't worked.
Right.
To cut a long story short. So I went for the hero lap and ended in the 0.
So it's a lot harder when the tarmac's wet.
Do you know what, funny enough for me actually, I'm massively down on power, so a dry track would have been worse for me.
Right.
I actually had a bit of an advantage the way I saw it, if the competition was concerned, and that was a wet track. The car spooled up a little bit easier, but that said, it still caught me off guard and I ended up in gravel, so not a good day for me yesterday.
Well, there's still round 2, isn't there?
There's always round 2, we always look forward to it.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Take care. Right, so that was qualifying. Now after the break, yes, it's time for the battles. So here I am with Baggsy, who we didn't speak to earlier because he had a stinker in qualifying. But you're back in, mate. What happened?
Well, we went out yesterday for qualifying. The car felt really well. I felt on song with the car. I was doing some really good practice runs. Came to qualifying. There's a new setup with qualifying, the judging being centred around entry. And I thought I did what the judges were asking for. Unfortunately, I just come outside of the top 16th. Top 16, I qualified 17th. And unfortunately for Brendan Stone, he's lost his engine and he was first place qualifier, so it leaves 15 in the top 16, so being 17th I go into the 16th position, and here I am today on the circuit.
So qualifying was awesome, even though the conditions on the track were really harsh. So Anthony, tell me, who are the ones that we look out for?
Well, we've done our qualifying now, as you've just said. We've got our 16 drivers. I mean, just to mention, for semi-pro, pro and pro class, we've got Adam Simmons. He's one of the new drivers in the championship in semi-pro class. We've got Mark Huxley. He's moved up into professional class this year, so he's definitely one of the drivers to watch. And you've also got Wayne Keeber in the super pro class. He's going to be one of the drivers to watch again this year.
Yeah, so definitely keep an eye out for them. Right, so now the qualifying's done, it's time for the battles.
Super Pro class top 16 battle. We've got Paul Smith in the Team Jack Speed Nissan S15 against Barry Leonard in the Nissan S14. So as they come round the first corner, Paul Smith smoking up those Maxxis tyres. As they come round, Barry just tries to get in a little bit too fast and just could not control it and puts in a spin. All Paul Smith has to do now is continue his drift around the track without spinning, and he'll gain maximum points in the first battle. Next battle, we've got Ian Phillips in the V8 powered Nissan Skyline R33 with a huge flick into the first corner there. He's followed by Damien Mulvey in the beautifully prepared Nissan S15. So as they come round turn 1, both good speed, both good angle, locking up all 4 wheels there, Ian Phillips, as he comes into turn 2, scrubbing the speed off. So into turns 3, both very smooth transitioning coming round here. Then they're going to shift up a gear and put the foot to the floor, and they're going to absolutely batter those limiters as they come round the last section and over the line. Both very consistent for both drivers there in the first battle. This will come down to the battle number 2. So they're going to switch around. Damien Mulvey in position 1, Ian Phillips in position 2. So here they go, both of them initiate into the first corner. Ian Phillips just trying to put the power down, get the grip down to catch Damien Mulvey up as much as possible. Damien Mulvey smoking up those tyres as he scrubs off the speed to come into turn 2. looking very good for both drivers here. Ian Phillips looking very aggressive as they come round the last section. Again, the gears, as they're going to shift up now in the gears, and they're going to put the foot to the floor, smoking those tyres up. Ian Phillips can't even see where he was going through that last section. Very good run from both drivers there. Okay, next battle we've got Mike Marshall in the Team M&M Nissan S15 against Phil Morrison in the Driftworks black and orange Nissan S15. So here we go into the first corner, both very committed, and Mike Marshall going ever so slightly wide and puts it into the gravel, and oh my god, Mike Marshall must be gutted about that. Phil Morrison just overtaking him there, giving him huge advantage into the next round.
Maxxis, a bit of fighting talk from you earlier. You confident now?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. I'm really confident in the car. I think it's going to be a really good battle. It's going to be tough, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Go hard to go home, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Do it.
See you later.
So Simon Perry in the pink Nissan Skyline, he's going to be the lead car. Bagsy in the Subaru is going to be the chase car. Off the line they go. Simon Perry, massive fuel cut, causing him to not get off the line as fast as possible, causing Bagsy then to shut off the power. Simon Perry seems to find the power again. Bagsy's just caught off guard, and a massive gap's been produced. Bagsy's going to put everything down now, all the grip and all the power that he's got in those Maxxis tyres to try and catch Simon Perry up as much as possible. Because of the technical issues that Simon Perry had though at the start, he's going to be marked down massively for that, and the judges will put Bagsy through to the next battle due to the technical issues that Simon Perry had with his fuel issues. Okay, so we've got Brian Egan in the A86 powered by a Honda VTEC engine, followed by Lee Barry in the Team M&M Nissan S14. Lee Barry with a massive straight there coming into the first section, just struggling just to catch him up a little bit. Bit of a dirt drop there from Brian Egan as they come round turns 2. Struggling just to catch Brian Egan up as much as possible. A huge straight again there going into the last section. The judges will mark him down massively for that. Gonna go into the second battle. So here we go, we've got Brian Egan as the chase car, Lee Barry as the lead car. So into the first section they go. We've got Brian Egan just going in a little bit too close there, having to back off a little bit, almost stopping as they come into turn 2. He's going to try everything in his power now to catch him up as much as possible, screaming that Honda engine in the Toyota Corolla as they come round the last section, and over the line they go, both of them, great angle and great speed.
Amazing. I just came over here and I was delighted to qualify, and anything else was a bonus, and just wanted to go hard and give it my all, and just great track, great organisation, and just delighted.
So back to Super Pro class, we've got Wesley Keaton in the WKD Imports Nissan S13 as the lead car against Paul Smith in the Team Jap Speed Nissan S15 as the chase car. So into the first section they go, good speed and angle, nice cool and calm there for Paul Smith just as he's using a handbrake to get it around the first section. As they come into the second section, Paul Smith is all over Wesley Keaton. He is literally so close to Wesley Keaton as they shift up a gear to come around the last section, and Paul Smith goes through to the next round. Next battle, we've got Ian Phillips with a huge flick again in that V8 powered Nissan Skyline, followed by Stephen Moore in the red Nissan S14. So as they come into the first section, Stephen Moore getting very close as they come into the first section. That is really close from Steve Moore as they come into the second section, both smooth transitioning. Steve Moore putting that car all over that Nissan Skyline as they come around the last section, shifting up a gear, putting the power to the floor, and absolutely amazing as they cross the line. Stephen Moore goes through. Next battle, we've got Shane O'Sullivan in the Jap Speed Nissan S15 against Phil Morrison from Driftworks in the orange and black Nissan S15. So they're both coming around the first section, smoke bellowing from those tyres in the Jap Speed Nissan S15 of Shane O'Sullivan, both very consistently coming around into turn 2 there. Phil Morrison trying everything in his power to get on the door of that Nissan S15 as they come around the last section. Phil Morrison putting the power down, and and a straighten from Phil Morrison there as Shane O'Sullivan screams around the last part of the track through to the next battle. So next battle we got Wayne Keeber in the Toyota Sora against Baggsy in the Team Japspeed Subaru. So as they come around the first section, we've got Baggsy is all over that Sora as they're smoking those tyres up, both of them locking up the rear wheels as they're coming round turns 2. Baggsy all over Wayne Keeber as they come round the second section. As they carry on round, they're going to both shift up the gears now and put the foot to the floor, putting all the power down as much as possible in both these Toyota powered cars. And he knocks his bumper off as he comes round the corner. Baggsy was all over him, so that means Baggsy goes through to the next battle. Okay, Pro Class final, we've got Mark Huxley in the lead car, we've got Christian Lewis as the chase car. Christian Lewis in the Nissan Skyline just making a bit of an error there on his initiation into the first corner. Mark Huxley putting the power down, creating quite a big gap on Christian Lewis as they come round. You see the grip that Mark Huxley's got there as they come round the last section. Mark Huxley smoking those tyres up, but Christian Lewis has caught Mark Huxley up there as they come round the last section, both putting the foot to the floor. Christian Lewis struggling to get the power down, making a bit of a gap on Mark Huxley there as they cross the line. This is going to come down to the second battle. That was very consistent from both drivers. So into the second battle we go. Christian Lewis in the Nissan Skyline as the lead car. Mark Huxley making a massive error, just trying to get a little bit too close there on the first corner, straightening. As they come into the second section, Mark Huxley's ever so close there on Christian Lewis. As they come round the last section, Mark Huxley's got close as possible as he can, and as he straightens there in the last section, and a straight again from Mark Huxley. Christian Lewis has absolutely annihilated Mark Huxley in that last run.
And the game's really high. I mean, it's all about consistency, really. If you can go out there and you can hold a good, true line and get every clip, you're on a win, really, I think. You know, and just try and push people into mistakes.
So back into the Super Pro class here, we've got a semi-final battle. We've got Paul Smith in the Team Japspeed Nissan S15, followed by Stephen Moore in the Nissan S14. As they come around the first section, Stephen Moore is pretty close as they're coming into the second turn. Look how close Stephen Moore is as they come around turns 2. Both of them are in very smooth transition, slightly wide from Stephen Moore though as they come around turns 2 there and turns 3. Paul Smith there looking cool and calm as they come around the last section. Absolutely battering the limiters over that line. Both drivers look very consistent, very committed. It was quite even, so it's going to come down to the second battle. Switch around now. We've got same initiations as they come round. We've got Stephen Moore now as the lead car. Paul Smith is the chase car. Paul Smith just struggling to catch Stephen Moore out there as he's smoking those Maxxis tyres as he comes round turns 2. Fighting with the car, as you can see there from the onboard camera. Paul Smith seems to have caught Stephen Moore up a little bit. Stephen Moore just ever so elegantly just drifting round. A straight from Paul Smith as they come into the last section. Paul Smith's not going to be happy with that. Stephen Moore through to the final. Next semi-final battle, we've got a Team Japspeed battle here. We've got Shane O'Sullivan in the Nissan S15 as the lead car. We've got Baggsy in the Team Japspeed Subaru as the chase car as they come round the first section, smoking up those tyres as they come round into the first section. Both of them looking quite consistent, very committed from both drivers as they come round the second section. Both nice smooth transitioning as they come round into the last section. Baggsy with a bit of a clutch kick there just to get the back end out a little bit further for the last section. Shane O'Sullivan just powering through, causing a huge gap on Baggsy. Second run, here we go, we're switching around. We've got Baggsy with a good entry into the first corner. Shane O'Sullivan's going to put the power down, taking a bit of a wide angle on Baggsy there as he comes round. That should set him up nicely for turns 2 as he puts that Nissan S15 ever so closer to that Subaru as they come round this second section. Okay, into the second section they go as they come round. They're both going to put the power down now into the third section and absolutely screaming those engines over the line. Shane O'Sullivan with a good consistent driving puts him through to the final. Last chance for a podium for both these drivers. Now this is the battle for third and fourth. Again, another Team Japspeed battle. We've got Baggsy in the Subaru, followed by Paul Smith in the Nissan S15. Look at them both as they're powering through. And Paul Smith making a huge error coming into turn 2 there with a huge straight. Baggsy just putting the power down, creating a nice gap. Paul Smith catching him up a little bit. Again, Paul Smith looking a bit cool and calm there as they come round the last section. Baggsy smoking those tyres up. Absolutely great run from both drivers there. Okay, this is what it comes down to. This is the Super Pro final. We've got Shane O'Sullivan in the Monster Nissan S15, followed by Stephen Moore in the Nissan S14 as they initiate into the first corner. Both good speed and angle. Stephen Moore just keeping that Nissan S14 onto Shane O'Sullivan as they come round into the first section. So round turns 2, very close there from Stephen Moore as Shane O'Sullivan puts the power down for the transition into turns 3. Both of them looking very consistent, very even coming around this last section. Look at them both as they are so close as they come round. This is why they're in the final, ladies and gentlemen. This is absolutely fantastic driving. That was battle 1. This is now battle 2 for the final. They're going to switch around. Stephen Moore in the Nissan S14 as the lead car, Shane O'Sullivan as the chase car, both with a huge flick coming into the first corner as they go round, foot to the floor, putting down the grip as they come round into turns 2, scrubbing off the speed. Great angle there from the camera in the curb cam as they come round into turn 2, smooth transitioning, bit of a wider transition there from Shane O'Sullivan as they come round turns 3. Looking quite cool and calm there as he's putting it into the last section. Absolutely great driving from both drivers there, but the judges didn't know who to put through as the winner, so they're going to run them one more time. So here they go, back again. We got Shane O'Sullivan as the lead car, Stephen Moore as the chase car. Huge flick there, knocking his front bumper off by the wheel. It must have been that close as he transitioned into the first corner, putting the power down. Shane O'Sullivan smoking up those tyres. Stephen Moore just nearly missing Shane O'Sullivan as they come round turns 2 into turns 3. Here they go, Shane O'Sullivan with a huge gap on Stephen Moore as they come round the last section. Look at those tyres smoking up from Shane O'Sullivan, creating that huge gap from Stephen Moore in battle 1. So into battle 2, they're on the line. Shane O'Sullivan gives the nod. Off they go. They're switching around again. It's Stephen Moore as the lead car, Shane O'Sullivan as the chase car. Huge entries from both drivers again. Look at the speed as they go around the first section. Off they go. So we've got Shane O'Sullivan smoking all those tyres as they come round, catching up Stephen Moore as much as possible on the clipping point, as much as possible there as he knocks the camera off. This is looking very close as they come round. Both of them going to be shifting up again now as they come round the last section. This is absolutely fantastic driving, but due to more angle, more speed and more smoke, Shane O'Sullivan takes the win.
Shane, congratulations, Super Pro, you've won the first round. How's it feel?
Oh, brilliant, yeah, top of the world.
Yeah, and you knocked out your teammate Bagsy on the way to the final, so how's that feel?
Well, it's a brilliant result for Team Jap, so happy enough.
Well, that's it. What a great day we've had here at Teesside Autodrome.
Yeah, we went through all 3 classes, our semi-pro class, our pro class and our super pro class. We got all 3 finalists and now we've got the table. We know who's going into the next round at the top. Let's see if they can keep those positions.
Yeah, and that's just saying, it's only round 1, so we've got lots left to go. So remember, go hard or go home.